Namaste, namaste, and welcome to this very first session, recorded session of 2025. And I have a feeling it's going to be a great year. I'm 50 this year, and there's all sorts of potential going on. So let us crack on with some lovely yoga to support our journey through life. Today, I'm going to start with a little Kati Chakrasana. It's one of my favorite things to do. So standing on your mat with your feet nice and wide apart, a little softness and bounce into the knees. Just making sure that you have your weight evenly distributed left to right, front to back across your feet. And then in the center, gently drawing in the pelvic floor and up the pelvic floor and in the belly muscles. We're gently going to twist from side to side. You can start with a nice easy movement. The key thing with these practices is that they feel good in the body. So if anything doesn't feel right to you today, or if you get a little twinge, making sure to ease off or try less hard. Sometimes it's our striving that makes us take the body beyond where it's really ready to go. Here we're going to allow the shoulders and arms to be soft, the head to follow the movement as we gently twist from side to side. At the moment, I'm allowing my hips to kind of follow with me as much as my knees are comfortable with. But in a moment, we're going to bring the hips to stillness by activating the muscles in the legs and stronger through the core, and then move more with the upper body. You can even move the hands so that they tap or slap across the upper chest and shoulder at the front of the body, and across the lower rib cage or back of the hips behind the body. So that slapping is quite active, obviously just enough that feels good to you, a little bit of stimulation on our energetic system, as the twisting is as well. And then when we've held our hips still, we're going to release and allow the feet to pivot. You don't have to pivot on your feet. You can simply just allow the hips to follow your movement again, as we did at the beginning. But if you like that idea of pivoting the feet, it frees the legs a little bit after they were held still, so they become part of the movement. You might need to slow your movement down. Perhaps you've got more twist to work with. And at the moment, I'm twisting away from the heel that is lifting. But I'm going to change it up and twist towards that heel by keeping the heel lifted and twisting towards it and then swapping from side to side. So now I get a different kind of movement across the body. My arms feel better a little bit lower down. So I'm tapping across the hips instead of across the shoulders. And then I'm going to go back to pivoting and twisting away from my heel. So you might like to twist towards your lifted heel first, if that's your natural thing to do. But then doing a little bit of both if you can, a bit of brain gym and coordination for our session first thing. Then adding a little soft bend in the knees in the center before you twist. Again, slowing your movement down if you need to. Just activating some of those larger muscle groups, which helps us to warm the body for our practice. And again, doing this if it feels good in your body, avoiding this extra bit if it doesn't. Again, touching the opposite shoulder in front of you, opposite hip or bottom of the rib cage behind you, keeping a gentle lift in the belly muscles. We're going to do a few more of these. And then we're going to begin to come to center slowly. So lose your bounce and simply pivot. And then bring your feet to steadiness and allow your body to release its momentum a little at a time until you come back to standing steady. And when you do, allow yourself to grow tall without being rigid, just this sense of buoyant lift, even through the crown of the head. You might like to gently close your eyes or gaze downward. Take a moment to notice the effect of your practice, that wonderful vibrating sensation of energy being stirred through the body. A sense of stillness or near stillness after quite a lot of movement. Making sure to check in, see how your body feels in this moment. Maybe give yourself a little gentle smile. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Roll your shoulders a few times. And maybe just making those shoulder rolls with the elbows as well. Nice big movements. And if it feels good, you can do those movements with the whole arm. You don't need to straighten your arms if that doesn't feel right. If you're able to cross the arms in front of you, trying to alternate the cross of the arms. Keeping that gentle lift in the belly muscles, just a sense of active, not really switched on, just engaged, enough for support. We're going to turn these rounded movements through the shoulders into sideways movements, so gently moving side to side, trying to fix the hips and low body in place so that we can move from the base of the spine. Trying to find length down both sides of the body. You can simply reach your arms out to the side if you don't like to reach them over. Not a problem at all. Beginning to feel that space down the sides of the body, underneath the arms. That's a space that's really closed often in our daily habitual life. We can open it in yoga. And then just reaching both arms up. And we're going to lift one shoulder and then the other. So you can have your arms as wide as is comfortable for your shoulders, but if you can bring them closer to your head, that's great. Reaching up with one side and then the other, little lift through the belly muscles as well. Try not to counterpose with your head, keeping your neck long and your head lifted. And then one more to each side. You're going to reach right up and float the arms down to the side. Oh, it feels really good to release after that. Just gently cross your arms across your body, chin towards chest, and give yourself a little hug, maybe gently rounding through your back as well. And then we'll open wide and do it the opposite way around, other arm on top, gently rounding, maybe even softening the knees, tucking the tailbone under, and then opening wide. Float the arms down to your side. Any more wriggly movements you feel like doing is great. I like a little neck rolling, but if you prefer to just turn your head or lean your head, then feel free. I'm going to bring my chin towards my chest. You can follow suit if you like, and then roll the right ear towards the right shoulder, allowing the shoulders and arms to be heavy, and then chin to chest and left ear to left shoulder. And just a few times from side to side, feeling the connections between the movements of the head and the sensations through the sides of the neck, the jaw, the chest, the upper back. One more time from side to side. And then gently bringing the chin to the chest. Give yourself another little smile and then raise your head and open your eyes. So we want to move from this limber that's taken in quite a lot of the body, but not very much of the low body, into something that brings the low body into it as well. So please excuse me, my trousers are always trying to make their way towards my ankles. Coming into maybe a little bit of hip width, maybe slightly wider with the feet if you like. If you're close to a wall or a chair or a sofa, you can use a little bit of support for this if you'd like. Again, switching on those belly muscles, maybe even lifting in the pelvic floor and allowing that sensation of drawing inwards and upwards to allow you to stand tall. Use a point of focus ahead of you that's not moving, and we're simply going to raise the arms to about chest height as we lift the heels away from the floor, floating onto the tiptoes or the balls of the feet, and then gently releasing down. So a gentle lift and lower. Gentle lift and lower. This time we're going to come up and see if we can stay up for a moment, gently lifting up and then holding here, and if possible, gently turning to your right whilst you're on the balls of your feet, and then back to the center. It's okay to wobble, and then turning to the left and back to the center. And then slowly releasing the heels down. And at the bottom of this movement, just bending the knees ever so slightly, releasing the backs of the calves, the Achilles that have been very active. And we'll do that one more time, but slightly different arm movements. So firm in the belly with that gentle lift, a point of focus, coming up onto the balls of your feet, lifting the heels, and then this time reaching the left hand forward as you reach the right arm up and over to twist to the right, a little bit more demanding this, and then coming back to the center, facing front, right hand in front as well, and then reaching the right hand forward as you lift the left arm up and over. It's okay to wobble, and then coming back to the center, and releasing down, and releasing also the knees, that little bouncing bend, just to ease off. And then from here, we're going to come into a little squat. So you can bend as low as you like. You can use some support if you'd like to as well. So coming up onto the balls of your feet, settling your shoulders down, nice and firm across the belly. We're going to bend the knees, and we want the knees to bend over the feet. Doesn't matter how far in front of the feet they come, but bending over the feet so the knees don't fall out or fall in, and coming as low as feels comfortable. Now you could go all the way down, but then you've switched off the movement, the muscle support of your body. So we want to come down to a point where we're still making muscular effort, and then come up and release the heels down. We're going to do that one more time. So coming down low isn't the object. The object is to keep the muscles of our legs in a really supportive role as we move down and move up. So coming down as low as feels comfortable for your body. If your knees begin to hurt, feel free to rest there or come up, just release out. So firm in the belly, lifting the arms up, and then bending the knees straight over the feet, not falling inwards or outwards. Coming slowly down to wherever feels good, really active in the belly muscles, getting to the point where you're still quite buoyant, you're still using the leg muscles, and then pressing up, and releasing the heels down. Give your shoulders a little bit of a roll, give your legs a little bit of a shake out. So we're now going to come down to the mat, and you could do that in a variety of ways, but it doesn't matter, it doesn't need to be fancy. I'm going to do this by doing a forward bend. So just taking the feet to wherever feels comfortable, standing nice and tall, and reach the arms out and up. So I lift the chest and really switch on the back of the body, lifting the belly muscles as well, and then fold forward from the hips. So I'm trying to keep the spine nice and long, soft bend in the knees to keep the pelvis tilted, to allow the spine to lengthen from the hips to the crown, and then bringing the hands down to whatever is comfortable. And here, soft bent knees is what we're after. We're not after straight legs. We're going to reach the hands to wherever is comfortable. They could even reach onto the body or stay on the hips. And then gently lengthening one leg and then the other. So we don't need to get the legs straight, but we're just doing a little sort of paddling through the backs of the knees. And if you like to, you can do a little turn of the head as well. Trying to keep the belly gently lifted allows a little bit of extra space. And then when you're ready, you can bring yourself down into a hands and knees position. So here we want to spread the fingers, press the tops of the feet, or if you prefer to tuck under, the toes down into the floor. Scoop the belly in and try to think about lengthening through the back of the neck. So we don't want to crank the neck to look forward, and we don't want to drop the head either. We want to be quite active in the upper back. And then moving into a gentle cat-cow. So lifting the tailbone as you open the front of the body, glide the shoulder blades down, looking forward, and then rounding through the spine, lifting the back of the body up, creating space underneath the body, chin to chest, and scooping the belly in. Gently easing forward. You might like to soften the elbows, glide the shoulder blades down, and then rounding through the spine, coming the opposite way. So we're going to take the knees a little bit further back, and then this time we're going to do it with more of the body. So we're going to release the hips down towards the heels, almost like a puppy dog pose or an extended child's pose. And then as you come forward, just gently bending the elbows, bringing the body quite close to the floor and up as you look forward, and then rounding through the spine, just like a cat does, stretching the body away from where the hands are on the floor and softening the elbows. You might like to roll your inner elbows slightly forward, slightly towards each other rather, so that you get that support underneath the body, rounding through the spine as you come back. For those who feel comfortable, you can drop your forearms to the floor and bring your body close to the floor as you come forward. The elbows peel off the floor as you come into the forward position and rounding back. And we'll do just one more of these. Lovely job. Taking a moment in your child's pose, you can widen the knees, particularly if you prefer a longer back rather than a curved back. And take the forehead to the floor or folding the arms, taking the forehead to the forearms instead. If you prefer to have your knees closer together, please do so. If you're comfortable, you can turn the palms of the hands upwards, which just opens the space across the shoulders a little bit differently. And take a gentle deep breath. Try to soften all of the effort through your center and just allow the spine to settle into a more neutral set of shapes. And then when you're ready, we're going to come into downward facing dog. So spreading the hands, tucking the toes, taking the knees off the floor, but keeping the knees nice and bent. Press the chest towards the thighs, lift in your tailbone, relax the back of the neck, and then gently lengthening the legs a little. So we're still up on the balls of our feet. We can take one heel down to the mat as we bend the opposite leg, and then swap sides. If your head naturally comes between your upper arms, and you can tell by twisting from side to side just to look, then that's a great place for it to hang out. But if it's slightly above, that's fine as well. Try not to let it come much further down, because it's just a little bit released in the shoulders there. There's not as much support working for the body. When you're ready, you can bring yourself back to center. Maybe walk your feet slightly closer towards each other, bend both knees, and then wriggle the hips from side to side. Again, pressing the chest back towards the thighs, lifting the hips nice and high. You can turn your head if it feels like a nice thing to do. And when you're ready, you can bring yourself to hands and knees and then come all the way forward to lie on your belly. Make a pillow out of the hands. Maybe turn the toes towards each other, the heels out, but separating the feet. If you like to rest your forehead straight down, that's very nice. It's really neutral for the neck. But if it doesn't suit you so very well, you can turn your head to one side. Take a couple of deep breaths wherever you land. Here you can shake the hips from side to side if you'd like to. And really all we're doing is allowing the front of the body a bit of contact with the floor, which allows parts of our body that have been very tense or switched on without our knowledge, we're unaware of it, to soften a little and switch off. You could stay here for an extended period of time if you wanted. It's a really nice position to settle also discomfort in the low back for lots of people, not for everyone. But just so we do something nice and rounded, I'm going to roll over onto my back and take a moment with the knees bent and the feet on the floor, the feet really quite wide. Not wider than your mat perhaps, but definitely apart, and allowing the arms to rest away from the body with the palms turned upwards. Here we need to explore where is the right place for our shoulders. So some people like their arms really wide, maybe even out towards a T shape from the body, shoulder height. And some people prefer their arms a little closer, but most people could benefit from being slightly wider. So the more narrow your arms are, the more likely your shoulders are to tip away from the mat. And we want to allow the back of the body to settle down into the mat. Here we're gently lengthening the back of the neck, maybe giving the head a movement from side to side, just to ease any tension we're not aware of holding the back of the neck. And then with the head in the center, we're going to firm the belly muscles and allow the knees to sway gently from side to side as well. So here we're not looking for any particular position. So getting your knees down to the mat is not the object, although you might work in that direction. We're looking to make the movements with great control across the center of the body, so the knees aren't flopping from side to side. You can make the movement near continuous, or if you prefer, you can hang out with the knees to one side for a couple of breaths. And then gently bring them back to center and allow the knees to go to the opposite side for a couple of breaths. When you're ready, you can bring the knees back to center, draw the knees in towards you, hug them gently. And again, you can take the knees one way, but this time the head the opposite way. It's a really nice, gentle twist through the spine. And to finish, we're just gently going to draw the knees in, head towards the knees, and rock backwards and forwards through the back of the body a few times. Whenever you're ready, you can come up to sitting and finish your session by bringing yourself to any comfortable upright position. Doesn't need to be cross-legged. And the palms together at the center of the chest. Give yourself that sense of length. Maybe gently bring your chin towards your chest. Give yourself a soft smile. And when you're ready, raising your head, opening your eyes, releasing your hands down. What a great way to start the day or end the day. I hope you've enjoyed this practice, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Namaste.